Ladies and gentlemen, the writer, reporter, inside source, NBA expert, whatever you want to call him, that put out the tweet yesterday that shook 76ers Nation. And it wasn't even a report. It was just a tweet. He just replied to somebody on Twitter. But it blew up. It was all over Twitter. It was on NBA Central. I saw it on Instagram. It was in Facebook groups. It was everywhere. And that report or that rumor, that single tweet blew up the way that it did because it just confirmed what we all already felt to be true. You know what I mean? Like the fan base was sitting around basically speculating, and anybody that I run into on the street was saying the same thing. They're done. They're screwed. They need to move on, whatever it is. There's no way he's healthy. We don't expect anything. And then, boom, Brett Siegel, who writes for Clutch Points, gave his opinion on what he's hearing around the league. And it is that Joel Embiid's knee is in bad shape, and Paul George is planning on, or is assumed to probably miss the start of training camp, maybe even preseason. With that tweet and that kind of blowing up all over the place, I guess Brett decided, let me go ahead and write a whole article. And in the article, he gave a lot more detail and some new information. And I want to just read the article and talk about some of the new information. One of the things that, I find very interesting is his claim that the 76ers regret signing Joel Embiid to that extension. So look, whether this is just middle of the summer, attention-grabbing, headline-writing stuff by Brett Siegel of Clutch Points, because it's not like Sham said it. It's not like it's anywhere else. Or if it is in fact true, I don't think he's lying. I think these are things that he's hearing, and I think there is some merit to it. And just because, it's August 5th and we have a month and 20 days until training camp starts, we are going to talk about it. So he replied to a tweet yesterday, and even he tweeted, I don't know why this is, he didn't expect it to do what it did, just replying to a single tweet. So he turned it into a full-fledged article, and he gave some new information, so let's talk about it. Injuries have defined the Philadelphia 76ers through the years, preventing the team from maximizing its potential. More specifically, Joel Embiid's health and persistent concerns about his knees have led to the 2022-23 MVP down a path where his future is very much in question. I agree with that. During the 23-24 season, Embiid missed a large chunk of the year. Surgery on a meniscus tear, came back for the New York Knicks series, fresh off a knee surgery. He only played 39 games that season. That's actually, I haven't even thought about the fact that he only played 39 games, 23-24. Then he came back and played 13 games, 24-25. So anytime I say Joel Embiid hasn't been healthy for damn near 2 years, I think that's a true statement. The immediate offseason, Embiid participated in the 2024 Olympics with Team USA. Even so, knee problems lingered. Ongoing concerns carried over into the start of 24-25 season. He didn't look good in the Olympics either, by the way. I think I said that yesterday, but he didn't look good in the Olympics. He had one dunk in the Olympics where he did a somersault onto the floor because he can't land on his legs anymore. Between the constant swelling and pain in his left knee, he played just 19 games. I said 13. 19 games in 24-25 season before being shut down indefinitely. Underwent surgery again in April to try and address his long-lasting problems. Embiid has struggled getting back on the court this offseason, and there is a growing concern that he will not be ready for the start of training camp. Although word from Philadelphia surrounding the Star Center continues to be optimistic, they expect him to return to MVP form. No, they don't. Everyone else around the league does not share the same belief. Of course they don't. That is just ridiculous for the 76ers to even say that they expect him to return to MVP form. But they have to say that because they want to sell tickets and they're trying to build a new arena. Many have already made the comparisons for Embiid's knee problems to those of Los Angeles Clippers star Kawhi Leonard, but I always retort that with Kawhi Leonard is 6'6" and is always in amazing shape. Joel Embiid is 7'2", 300 pounds, and I'm sorry, is never really in amazing conditioning shape. The common word associated with Embiid and his health this offseason is things are bad. Several rival teams in the Eastern Conference who spoke with Clutch Points a couple of weeks ago at NBA Summer League confirmed mixed signals. Another source close to the situation stated how those surgeries and countless rehab efforts have taken a toll. Oh, I wanted to say this one first. Hold on. That is an important point, but this part right here. One executive stated the 76ers are regretting their decision to extend the big man's contract in 2024. Now, I want to admit that it's not like I was sitting up here saying, don't extend Joel Embiid. People that come at me and say, you were all for the extension. I was. You're absolutely right. But then the rumors came out, that, Joel Embiid got injured. Then he was ramping up. He had knee swelling, all of this stuff. Then the rumors came out that the 76ers knew his knee was not good before they extended him. So, one executive is telling Brett Siegel that the 76ers are regretting their decision to extend Joel Embiid. Let's go back to that report. The Sixers, this was on November 27, 2024. The Sixers and Joel Embiid sought half a dozen medical opinions before agreeing to the 3-year maximum contract. The team and Embiid had sought a half a dozen medical opinions before signing him to a $192 million extension. Now, I don't know how, more than half a dozen. I mean, it's 6, okay? It's 6. The number is 6, okay? They talked to 6 doctors. They didn't tell us what those doctors said. All of those consulted believed his knee could be adequately managed by combination of strategic rest and procedures to promote healing. So apparently 6 doctors thought that his knee was not 100%, but it could be managed by combining a combination of strategic rest. What the fuck is strategic rest? Is that, laying down a certain position, or is that just laying down? You know what I mean? And procedures to promote healing. Again, just a bunch of big words, a bunch of mumbo jumbo, a bunch of where we used to call in my generation bullshit. Okay, this is bullshit. That's what this is. This is not true. This is bullshit. I don't even believe they talked to 6 doctors. I don't believe any of that. It sounds like bullshit. There's no way doctors saw that knee and said, well, with strategic rest and procedures to promote healing. Stop it. What are the procedures to promote healing? Anyway, I could go on a rant for that on that forever. But we do have one executive telling Brett Siegel that the 76ers are regretting their decision to extend him in 2024. So there's that. You can regret it all you want. He's signed until 2029. You owe him the money. I did get a YouTube comment yesterday that said the Sixers are about to engage in the biggest buyouts in NBA history, which would be insane. Another source close to the situation stated that these surgeries and countless rehab efforts have taken a toll on Embiid mentally. This is what I've talked about plenty of times before. Because when I read the article, written by some guy in his house that was clearly set up for a one-sided conversation for Embiid to tell all of the bad things that happened through the process and try to get everybody to stop saying negative things about him, whatever. When I read that, I did not feel like Joel Embiid's attitude showed much interest in playing basketball anymore, man. The way that he was talking in that article, it sounded like he was checked out. It sounded like he was done. It sounded like he was already retired, and he was talking about his career in past tense and why all of the things didn't work out. It just sounded like he was mentally checked out. And I said that I predict he will medically retire because of these things. And I referenced Andrew Luck, who retired from the NFL at 30 years old. And Andrew Luck's reasoning for retiring was, I'm tired of the cycle of injury, rehab, recovery, injury, rehab, recovery. And it's taking a toll on him mentally. And he retired from the game at 30 years old. Medical retirement, Andrew Luck. This is I'm feeling the same way about Joel Embiid, and another source close to Brett Siegel stated the surgeries and countless rehab efforts have taken a toll on Embiid mentally. Now, either Brett Siegel is just watching my YouTube show and taking all of my talking points and predictions and turning them into articles and claiming an unnamed source, or I'm predicting the fucking future here. But it's not. I'm not a genius. I'm not an expert. I always claim that I'm just saying what I think makes the most sense. And honestly, this type of stuff is pretty obvious if you ask me. But I do find it interesting that, Joel Embiid's not healthy. I already knew that. That has been confirmed. These surgeries and countless rehab efforts have taken a toll on him mentally. I'm sure it has. And I think that's probably why he sounds as checked out as he sounds. But again, Joel, I feel bad. We feel bad. Your career has been riddled with injury. Your career is possibly about to be cut short by injury. But let's tell the truth here. It is what it is. Nobody owes you anything. You did lock in the extension. Good on you. Get your money, And you did make comments about, all I've done for this city, I don't deserve this shit, all that stuff. I do feel like Joel Embiid feels like he deserved that extension because he dedicated 10 years of his life to this franchise, or 10 years of playing basketball to this franchise and putting his body on the line and fighting through injury every year. So I'll even agree with the fact that, I don't know, you already made $200 million. I don't know if I'm going to agree that you deserved the extension, but you got the extension, all right? But now it's time to stop, woe is me, I did all of this, all of my injuries, I deserve this, I deserve that. It's time to retire. If you can't play anymore, and if these rehab efforts, surgeries, and countless rehab efforts have taken a toll on you mentally, it's time to announce your medical retirement. If you cannot play, you need to retire. Do not hold the 76ers fan base in purgatory until 2029 because you refuse to retire. And again, if these surgeries and countless rehab efforts have taken a toll on him mentally, I think he's going to retire because you can medically retire and work out a deal where you get most of the money that was promised to you in the extension anyway, and then you don't have to play anymore. You don't have to go through playing through pain and injuring yourself again and having another surgery and all this stuff. Last time we saw you play, you looked like you were in incredible pain. It's time. I think it's time. And with these reports coming out that he's not going to be ready for training camp, he doesn't look 100%. He doesn't sound 100%, and I don't understand how anybody expects him to get back to 100% at 31 years old, 4 knee surgeries, 7'2", 300 pounds. It's time to just retire. And we will celebrate your career. At least I will. There's plenty of people that won't because they're, I don't know, they would just wake up angry, which some people think I do, but that is what it is. I will celebrate your career personally. I think most 76ers will celebrate your career. It'll have an asterisk, and it was riddled by injury. But it's time to retire. Embiid deserves a lot of credit for battling through adversity every season of his career, as fans tend to overlook the physical and mental strain of playing in the NBA. I agree with that, but at the same time, when you're being paid $200 million, fans are not obligated to give a fuck. They're not. These are normal 9-to-5 people going to work, and they just want to watch a basketball team. I don't have to sit in my living room and cry because of all the stuff that happened in the process. I have a real life and real issues myself. You understand what I'm saying? Fans don't have to care. I hate when people do that. Like, oh, Philly fans this, Philly fans that. They have no sympathy. I have sympathy for people that are going through real struggle. And I could find probably millions of people in this world that are going through much more real struggle than an injured NBA player. Anyway, the 76ers star has proven to be a fighter, and he has remained motivated to get back on the court for his team. Whether or not this will be achieved is the question at large this offseason, and this growing concern around the league for Embiid's knee health has put the spotlight on the Eastern Conference on the 76ers. When you have a second surgery to attempt and fix an initial problem, and then you continue to deal with delays and more complications, that's never a good sign. One member of an NBA team's medical personnel told Clutch Points. So a member of a medical team that's not the 76ers medical team, that's probably a good thing. Few players have been able to come back from multiple surgeries and injuries to the same part of their body, which is what Joel is trying to achieve. And I respect him for trying. But it's time to hang it up. For him specifically, his injury history and knee issues go back to when he first entered the league. To even play at that level he has to this point is remarkable. I completely agree with that. He has overcome an incredible amount of adversity. Of course, everyone wants to see him back at 100% healthy, and the league is better with all of its stars on the court. The reality here is that the damage has been done, and none of us can get word on if it's actually repairable. I think my only real takeaway from this is, Joel, it's time to hang it up. And that's sad, but it's looking like it's time.